Welcome back to the second part of the 2023 LEGO Wars International Special. Last time out we saw 3 champions from last year, Panic Attack, Aggro Arbor and Duck, all crash out at the first hurdle, leaving the field wide open. Tonight sees the second half of the first round, so without further ado let's see tonight's combatants.
First, from England, Bricker Brother.
The veteran flipper makes its international debut tonight, hoping to use a strong performance in this special to launch them back to the top in the main series.
From Sweden, Fronsberg.
The heroic reserves from 2022 return to the internationals, hoping some of their main series luck will rub off in this special.
From the Czech Republic, Good Hits.
After a late withdrawal, the original Good Hits has come out of retirement, still showing scars from the first wars, but arguably better armour than its successor.
From Japan, King B Cubes.
Last year's international was a high watermark for the veteran lifter, but with a target on their back it'll be tough to repeat that feat.
From Mexico, Loco Colo.
New to the Warzone, Loco Colo boasts the heaviest shell spinner the series has seen, but getting it up to speed could prove to be a handful.
From Japan, Mecha Bowser.
The Cyborg Koopa had a so-so performance in the recent All-Stars and needs to show more from the upgraded weaponry to keep up the pace.
From Australia, Muffin.
The Aussie Doggo had a respectable debut in the recent Rookies Cup and will hope to keep that momentum going tonight.
From Ukraine, Omeganator.
This machine built to succeed the original Green Dome has a more aggressive design and they hope to finally return to the form they had from the first international.
From South Korea, Orby Blade.
Another new bot to the series, Orby boasts the best of both worlds with a frightening looking horizontal bar at the front and good armour package at the back.
From England, Pegasus.
They may be making their debut in LEGO Wars tonight, but Pegasus's domination on the UK live scene speaks for itself, so expectations are high for the flipper.
From the Netherlands, Petunia.
The first international champs made it to the top 8 last year, and with the new Keith setup they could finally return to the top.
From the USA, Tantrum.
Another making their international debut tonight, Tantrum proved to be a real bracket breaker in the main series, they'll be looking to continue that trend.
From Egypt, Whackanaton.
The whacking machine returns to the arena after an entertaining debut, although they'll have to be wary of pit malfunctions after falling foul twice last year.
From England, Waddle Matter.
Only the eventual international champs could take out the Series 2 winners last year, and after a triumphant All-Stars performance they're one of the favourites overall.
From Northern Ireland, World War M.
The Northern Irish bot was a surprise third place finisher in last year's special, but with the field ever improving it's going to be tough for them to repeat that achievement.
From Canada, Zoidy Blue.
The Canadian Crusher returns after a bruising 2022 where they went 0-5 in all competitions, but with an extra pair of wheels they hope to push back into contention. Here's how they'll line up tonight. We begin the action with last year's third place finishers Weldor M against the hyperactive Whackanaton before the revamped Tantrum faces the ancient Good Hits. Pegasus and Loco Colo will do battle in Fight 3 of the night before the current All-Stars champs Waddle MECHA take on Omeganator. The final quadrant begins with the ex-international champs Petunia against the rookies Orby Blade before Bricker and Muffin fight for Ash's honours. The penultimate fight of this round sees Kronsplo take on former international finalist Zoidy Blue before we end this round with an all-Japan encounter between King B Cubed and Mecha Bowser. Let's get stuck in.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Two of the more crazy, weird and abstract machines fighting here, and I say that because you honestly don't know what's going to happen when these two robots enter the arena. I've been looking forward to this fight actually since it was announced. Weldor M from Northern Ireland, Whackanaton from Egypt. Now Weldor M of course came third last time around in the International Championship, so I guess you could say they're the third seed, but they are very unpredictable, very silly, very wacky, and I love it. Not quite as wacky though as Whackanaton with that spinning disc on that thwacking arm, although I'm not really too sure how much damage it's ever going to truly cause. They have undergone some upgrades over this series, as have Weldor M. And I'll be honest, those upgrades seem to be doing them fine so far. They haven't lost control, they haven't lost their weapon arm, they haven't lost a wheel, they haven't lost a wheel hub. They seem to be doing quite well out there, Whackanaton. Always underrated and underappreciated, I felt, Whackanaton actually. They were very unlucky to lose in their 2 losses last year. Both of them were pit malfunction related, so could expect to see better things from them this time around now that the pit's working properly. Something went flying off there. I think that was part of Weldor M though, so they've done more damage to themselves. Oh, but there goes the weapon chain! of Thwackanut and Spinner. It was all going so well. Now, for a minute there, I thought that chain was going to get wrapped up in the spinner of Weldor M. Instead, though, it seems to got wrapped up in the tyres. Good push there, though, by Thwackanut. And where did that come from? And that broke the front wedge off. Good aggression and good control there by Thwackanut. And that wasn't, was it, really? Going for the pit button and hitting the sidewall instead. Now down goes the pit. Is it me or is that wheel on the left-hand side there a bit wonky? No, not too sure. Have to have a close look at that. Oh, Thwackanut nearly thwacking itself into the pit. Good driving there by Weldor M to get that wedge underneath and nearly having Thwackanut and down the pit. This is the problem with a robot like Thwackanut. With the pit down, all cards are off the table. They could quite easily throw themselves in there because of their sort of design. It is a little bit zany and a little bit crazy. They've been caught out by the pit a couple of times in the past. And Weldor having no issues shoving Thwackanut and down the pit, using their own drive to their advantage, really. So Northern Ireland proceed then. Weldor could be a dark horse to win this one. Remember, they came third last time around. Didn't do much damage with that spinner, I must be honest, but they did get several good attacks in. They used good aggression and control throughout as well. They were certainly the more controlled of the two machines by far. But Thwackanut have definitely improved their control this time around, in my opinion. That was a very good drive there by Thwackanut, but eventually they got sent down into the pit.
A good back and forth encounter to start the night as Weldor M continues their international streak of always making the second round. Next up, it's the OG Good Hits returning to the war zone against the upgraded Tantrum.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Nice to see the original Good Hits back. What on earth was that from Tantrum? Terrible control at the start. They're reversing back into the side wall. You're meant to go towards your opponents, lads. There. Good Hits, the machine with the big swinging hammer. Although it's not as powerful as we thought it would be, and they've been pinned in by the spikes here. Remember, Good Hits too. We weren't impressed with that one, neither were the team. They got rid of it. They brought back the original Good Hits for this tournament to represent the Czech Republic, but they're at the moment getting themselves absolutely smashed about. Oh, and some serious damage being done there, courtesy of that punching fist spinner of Tantrum. Down comes the swinging hammer of Good Hits, but it's not very effective. It's not quick enough, in my opinion. Down it comes there with a little bit of a love tap, nothing more. The arena spikes. Oh! Managed to pick up Tantrum a moment ago. More damage being done to that front plow. That front plow used to be such a good spinner killer. It's now getting killed by the spinner of Tantrum. Do not, oh goodness me, underestimate the US machine. It is a former BattleBots champion. They've hit the pit release button, so they must be confident they can get good hits down the pit. And being honest, so am I. That machine is dangerous. It is deadly. Good Hits trying to bring the hammer in once again, but not managing to get many effective shots in with it. Tantrum has somehow lost an eye, so I guess you could say it's been slightly effective. Oh, goodness me! Tantrum nearly throwing itself in the pit. And Good Hits buried and took advantage of it, but they weren't able to quite capitalise on it there. Tantrum now pinning them in against the arena sidewall and into that corner, bringing in that spinner, trying to cause more damage to that front plow, and doing it there. Look, the big swinging hammer of Good Hits just is not giving the damage that it used to give in the early series. I believe it's a little bit outdated, really. This is a new breed of robot for LEGO Wars. Good Hits is quite an old robot, and unfortunately it's showing here. Tantrum, former BattleBots champions, as I mentioned earlier. They also made it to the top 8, the grand final of the last Wars. They lost out to then reigning champions Waddle Dee 2. No disgrace there, of course. And unfortunately for them, for Good Hits I should say, they've come back with a vengeance. Redesigned this this series. You can see that they've got a more compact look this time around. They've got a little bit less bigger than they were in the last series. They're hoping that's going to make them a lot sturdier. It's certainly proving to be that way at the moment, because they're just deflecting those hits from Good Hits' axe as if they're nothing, as if they're just little pokes from a feather almost. And again, it would help if the hammer actually swung with any speed and velocity. Down it comes there on the spinner. No real damage done there to the spinner, though, unfortunately for them. They're trying to do damage to that spinner, actually. It's a good little tactic there from Good Hits. That certainly wasn't. You're meant to hit your opponents, guys. Come on. Bring in the hammer. You've only got a certain amount of time left before this battle's over. It's going to go to the judges, I think. Yes, the final 10 seconds. Look, you can see the clock ticking down now. Good Hits trying to bring that hammer in and get some late aggression points. Oh, and the hammer being snapped there by the spinner of Tantrum. Good Hits battered, bruised, and in my opinion, very much beaten there by Tantrum. This new breed of robot really did let the old guard down here, let's be honest. Tantrum absolutely splattering good hits throughout that fight. It took some serious damage. It nearly got Tantrum in the pit here, but other than that, it was all Tantrum, really. Yes, they got a few axe shots in, but no real major damage was done. Tantrum caused all the real damage, in my opinion, and was by far the more effective out there, and in my opinion, has surely won this.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Tantrum. Despite not running at full speed, Tantrum proved too much for the old good hits as they move on. Now it's flipper time as Pegasus takes to the arena against Loco Colo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Two new robots to LEGO Wars here, Pegasus of England and Loco Colo of Mexico. Pegasus by far having the better start there. In fact, it's the only one to have started so far, Loco Colo. That's the furthest it's moved this entire battle, and that was because it got pushed along by Pegasus. Good flick there from Pegasus. Now, this is what I was excited to see. That flipper of theirs. We've never seen a flipper as powerful as this in LEGO Wars before. And I tell you what, this could be a head turner in this international special. Loco Colo nearly flipped over again there. It's a little bit too wide for Pegasus to flip over properly. I will say this, though. At Reading Brick Show, Pegasus has been a very successful machine. And it's great to see it in the LEGO Wars arena, and we hope it does well here. Loco Colo, this is the most it's moved the entire fight, and it's because it's being pushed along. Is there any movement in that robot at all? It doesn't seem to be moving at all, really. Actually, I think it's like sort of fidgeting along, but I don't think it's enough to be considered completely mobile. Good little flick there again from Pegasus, but can't quite get them over, or can it? That front scoop of Loco Colo. What's it meant to do exactly? What is this thing? Why is it in the arena? Get it out, please. Someone put this robot out of its misery. Go on, Pegasus. Get it out in the arena. You know you want to. This has been an absolute disaster here for the Mexican machine. I don't think we've ever had a Mexican entry in LEGO Wars in the past. If we have, I apologise for forgetting. You obviously weren't that impressive. And I tell you what, if anything, if they were all like this, I'm not surprised they weren't that impressive. This is ridiculous. Another little flick there from Pegasus, using that pneumatic flipper of theirs. Very rare as a pneumatic flipper in LEGO Robot Combat, and it's great to see it has actually been perfected here in this machine. This could be a robot that goes far here, like I said. This could be one to watch out for. Definite dark horse for the championship, in my opinion. Very effective robot. Loco Colo has barely moved. How is it still in this? How is it not being counted out? Come on, are they sleeping on the button again? What's going on here? I think it's because Pegasus won't leave it alone for long enough, in all honesty. Every time a robot engages again with another machine, that count out stops. There we go. They finally left it alone long enough. The countdown started. Loco Colo fidgeting forward, but it's not enough to be considered completely mobile, I'm afraid. Another little flick there from Pegasus as they drive them into the arena. What are they doing? Driving them into the corner.
Cease.
And I think that's it, yeah. Cease called. Pegasus were very impressive. It'll be interesting to see them fight against a robot that actually moves in the next round. Jesus. Oh. My soul left my body with that one. Impressive win there for Pegasus. It flipped Loco Colo not once, not twice, but thrice. The only reason why Loco Colo finished in a different part of the arena than when it started is because Pegasus gave it a piggyback ride. They pinned it into the arena corner and tried to flip it over there, but they weren't successful in flipping over Loco Colo. I'm wondering if that's an issue that might come up later on in this tournament. Either way, very impressive machine, this one. Representing England, they could go all the way.
That was more bullying than a fight as Pegasus utterly dominates the unwell Loco Colo to advance. They all face the winner of our next bout between MECHA and Omeganator.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Waddle Dee MECHA will definitely start to the favourites here. The English machine is a former LEGO Wars champion. It's the reigning All-Stars champion. It's got that very dangerous spinner that raises and lowers, and it's already caused severe damage out of the front of Omeganator, of course, the new and improved detonator representing Ukraine, hence the Ukrainian flags there on the side of the robot. And I tell you what, it's very, very quick and agile now, isn't it? Much quicker than the old machine. Look at that, even trying to get a lift in there on Waddle Dee MECHA. So I tell you what, they've definitely improved the robot. It's much more durable. The old detonator machine, that would have been out and destroyed by this point. But I tell you, Omeganator, this is a brand new machine by the team. And it's definitely effective, isn't it? Trying to get that lifter in underneath, but Waddle Dee able to get away using that big, scary spinner. They haven't lowered it yet. I wonder if that's because they want to take out the top panels first. It certainly seems to be the case from the evidence of that attack there. But Omeganator now getting underneath them and trying to flick them up and over. Could we have a huge upset on our hands here? We've had a few already in this tournament. We've seen Panic Attack and Chompy already crash out. Will we see Waddle Dee MECHA join them in the bin pile? Not by the evidence of that. Bits and pieces of Omeganator being thrown all across the arena and again. So Waddle Dee MECHA certainly has had the more effective weapon throughout this fight. Who's been the more controlled? Who's been the more aggressive? Not too sure. Omeganator not going up without a fight. I'll give them that much. Now, oh, another big hit there, though, by Waddle Dee MECHA. They're keeping their spinner raised. That seems to be the main tactic for this one. Is Omeganator done for? The wheels are spinning. I think they're beached on their own bits of rubble, really. That's a shame. That's always been a problem with LEGO Wars. Oh, but they have managed to back away now, Omeganator. It's so much more durable now, isn't it? They've really done a great job on improving that robot. Fair play to the team. Like I said, the original detonator, that would have been out by now. The fact that the Omeganator is still going and still taking those hits is impressive. And it's even now gone for the pit release button. And I tell you what, Waddle Dee MECHA very nearly went in. That would have been a huge comeback story there. More damage being done now to Omeganator as it pushes Waddle Dee MECHA back towards the arena side wall. They're going to have to do something major here, I think, in order to win this one, because as far as I'm concerned, this one has all been Waddle Dee MECHA so far, as they push it back now, getting that lifter in underneath, and they're managing to lift them up into the air. Good late tactics, good late attack here by Omeganator, and they very nearly upended them, and they have! I can't believe it, they've toppled Waddle Dee MECHA! Will Waddle Dee MECHA get back from there? Those arms, don't forget, are just for decoration. They have no power to them, so I don't think they can right the robot. And Omeganator coming in on the attack and in on the aggressive. We're into the final 5 seconds. Waddle Dee MECHA is going to be saved by the count, but will they be saved by the judge's decision?
6.
Only time will tell. What a performance from Omeganator at the end. Fantastic. I am speechless. I tell you what, the Ukrainian Omeganator, they could turn some heads, couldn't they? They've definitely come back improved. But don't take anything away from Waddle Dee MECHA. Let's be fair now. For the majority of that battle, they were on top. Yes, they had a little bit of trouble here when Omeganator got underneath them. But other than that, they certainly were in control of that fight. And certainly in command of it. Definitely had the more effective weapon. Yes, they nearly took a tumble in the pit there as well. And then out of nowhere, Omeganator came back. This is going to be an interesting one for the judges.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Omeganator. A massive upset there as Omeganator emulates its underdog performances of past to defeat the former series champs. Let's see if we have more drama on the cards as the first international champs Petunia are up next against Orbi.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
And we have another first in this International Championships. Orbi Blade representing South Korea, the first ever South Korean machine to enter the LEGO Wars arena. And boy, have they got a tough opponent here in Petunia. Former international champions. Oh, look at that though. The pit button's been absolutely mullered there by the blade of Orbi Blade. I don't think so, guys. That's expensive. That's going to come out of my pay packet. You blighters. Petunia, go on. Give them a good pinch on the backside to teach them a lesson for that. Petunia will be the favourites in this fight. As I mentioned, they're former international champions. Not only that, but they've also come third twice in the main competition of LEGO Wars. And they've beaten some very, very strong robots over the years, like Panic Attack. They've also taken out the likes of other machines as well. Orbi Blade backing away there, trying to get that spinner into play. But for me at the moment, I'd say Petunia's landed the more impressive attacks. Yes, Orbi's done damage to the arena, but you're supposed to damage your opponents, lads, not the not the beautiful set pieces. So if you could try and keep that to a minimum in the future, that would be wonderful. Petunia now coming in for another pinch on the backside of Orbi Blade. That spinner of theirs does not seem to be spinning as well as it was earlier. Is there something wrong with it? Petunia trying to get that claw grabbing lifting arm thingy that they've now got into play, although I don't think it's working at the moment, or at least it's not being as effective as they hoped it would be. They're trying to pull them away there by the looks of things, but were unsuccessful. They managed to let go now. Orbi Blade have been given another chance here by the Dutch clutch Petunia. Look at that spinning now, spinning up to speed. Oh, and huge damage there caused to Petunia. That was a brilliant snipe shot there from Orby, reminiscent very much of Fabulous Jeff of Series 2 and 3 fame of LEGO Wars. Oh dear, and now Petunia limping along. They are moving out of their circumference zone, so by that logic, they are still fully mobile. They are able to continue on in this fight and not be counted out. Orby Blade will want to try and get the other wheel removed, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Down goes the pit, and Petunia very nearly in there, but just able to back away. That was actually quite impressive driving considering they lost one wheel. But it's only a matter of time, surely, until Orby Blade manages to get Petunia down the pit, and we're about to witness another big surprise here in this International Championship as the South Koreans go forwards and the very favoured Petunia crash out in round 1. That's a surprise. It all went really well early on for Petunia. They managed to survive some of the early onslaughts and the early hits from that weapon of Orby Blade, or they damaged our arena pit button, though it still worked later on in the fight, much to the dismay of Petunia. Petunia used good control and aggression, of course, managing to get Orby Blade around, even did a little bit of damage to their side panel, but that was the main damage. The wheel got taken out, the pit button got pressed, and then Petunia got sent down.
Back-to-back upsets in LEGO Wars as Petunia loses a wheel for the first time to crash out the competition. Surely we won't have another upset in our next bout between Bricker and Muffin, but with Bricker's track record in brackets, who knows what will happen.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Bricker Brother will be strong favourites for this one. They've won 2 heats in the past. They made it all the way to the top 16 all the way back in Series 2 of LEGO Wars. Made it to the round of 32 last year as well. Meanwhile, Muffin hasn't really made a good fist of LEGO Wars so far. Going for the pit button and pressing it and managing to avoid the pit. Yes, just about. They lost to Whiplash in the Rookies event almost immediately. They've lasted longer than they did in that fight in this one. Bricker Brother, that's a surprise actually in my opinion, because Bricker Brother has got a very, very effective flipper, and there it is! I was wondering when we were going to see that flipper come into play. We've finally seen it. Oh, what a wonderful little trick that is there from Muffin. What a good dog. Brilliant stuff. Very well trained, great tricks. We love to see a little bit of dog tricks on LEGO Wars, I'm sure. Bricker Brother giving them a little bit of a tummy tickle there as a well done, as a treat for such a great, marvellous trick. No idea what I'm saying sometimes. And I think that's it for Muffin, I'm afraid. Or is it? No! Bricker Brother feeling very kind, feeling very sporting, righting them, and immediately flipping them back over once again. We've seen this trick before, guys. Come on. Go on, do us another trick. Roll over. Go on, roll over this time. I don't think it's going to happen. However, we are about to see them get dumped down the pit.
6.
Yes. Oh, Peter are going to have a field day with this one. Bricker Brother, go through. Muffin didn't really have a chance there against Bricker Brother, did they? They lost an eye very, very early on and then got flicked up by Bricker Brother's flicker onto their rear end. And they had no real answer for that, to be honest. They were brought back into it due to Bricker Brother being kind, but it didn't take long for Bricker Brother to get them back up onto their rear end once again, and then they sent them down to the kennel from hell.
A step back to normality as Bricker Brother wins their first bracket fight since Series 2 to move on. Next up, it's Zoidie Bluebee Kronsplo, and we're hearing news that the Swedish bot has a secret weapon to help them in their special.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
An argument can be made here for Zoidie Blue being the favourite. After all, it did come second in the Series 2 International Championships, but they've never really lived up to that success since then. However, they've got a new 4-wheel drive system for this series of LEGO Wars, so maybe we'll see something good come from the blue Zoidie one. There is Clementine with the Swedish flag on top of it, part of Kronsplo for this International Championships. It used to be part of P1, but it has since been adopted by Kronsplo. And now it is Kronsplo's baby brother being pinned into the sidewall there. Kronsplo now managing to get underneath Zoidie Blue. Can it get that 4-bar lifter to lift them up against the arena sidewall? I think that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to get them up and maybe balance them on their rear end. That's exactly what Atlas did 2 international championships ago to beat them in the finals. Zoidie Blue, though, coming back with a good push there. Managed to outpush both Kronsplo and Clementine. Very, very impressive. That 4-wheel drive system seems to definitely be doing Zoidie Blue some favours. It's a personal favourite of mine, actually, on LEGO Wars, so we're going to see it do well. And look there, the damage caused to Kronsplo, courtesy of Zoidie Blue. Although I think, actually, Clementine help them out a little bit there. Look, a side panel's gone as well. Clementine trying to make up for it, I guess, by pushing Zoidy Blue back against the inside wall, but it's getting bossed backwards by Zoidy Blue. I think they were going to try and pitch it there, get rid of the pesky little blighter, and come back in. Clementine nearly throwing itself over there. Now, oh, Crunch Blow! They've managed to get themselves beached on their own side panel, and one of their wheels has popped off. What on earth happened there? Now, all Zoidy Blue has to do is keep Clementine at bay, and I think Cronspo will be counted out here. They've got a hold of it, look, and they're going to try and get it down the pit. And can they get it down? They're trying their hardest. But Clementine just getting away. But Cronspo now being counted out. But Clementine trying to save them and does so with 5 seconds to spare. This has been a great battle so far. Zoidy Blue and Cronspo, two very good, very entertaining machines, giving it their all. Clementine's been out there as well, obviously, but the main story is between these two machines. Now, what's happened to Zoidy Blue? Where's all that speed and power gone? It's sort of ground down to a slow crawl. Almost a complete standstill. And they've been pushed towards the pit by Clementine. And I think it's only a matter of time now before it goes down into the deep abyss. Yes, Cronsblow and Sweden go through to the next round. What a shame that is for Zoidy Blue. I thought they had it, but it's a win for Sweden. I honestly thought Zoidy Blue had that, really. They managed to use their claws to good effect. Yes, they did get lifted up here by Cronsblow. Cronsblow certainly started the strong in the battle, but then the damage is done here. Look, off came the front wedge, and off came a side panel. Zoidy Blue by far on top. I thought Cronsblow were done for there, but Clementine managed to free them, and then helped Cronsblow get them down the pit.
Oh crab, your streak of chaos knows no bounds as you cause more havoc in the specials to knock Zoidy out. That leaves Mecha Bowser and King Bee Cube to fight out for the final spot next week, and it's a chance for last year's runner-up to finally get revenge from the second international. Back in the second special, these two fought in the quarter-finals, which Mecha Bowser controversially won to progress, so this is King Bee's chance to get the reversal on their fellow Japanese representative.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
And the final battle of the first round of the 4th ever LEGO Wars International Championship is an all-Japan affair. Two machines with bags of experience, King Bee Cubed and Mecha Bowser. King Bee Cube will be the favourite to win this one. After all, they are the returning runners-up from the last International Championships. They lost to Duck earlier on, but don't forget, a lot of upsets have happened so far. Reigning champions Duck are already out, Panic Attacker out, Chompia out, former international champions Petunia are also out as well. Waddle Dee Meta's even out, believe it or not, which is a huge upset. So lots and lots of surprises have happened, so anything can happen! And it certainly has there! Look at that! That wheel has been completely ripped out of the side of King Bee Cubed! Just as I said, if anything can happen, it certainly did happen there, didn't it? Look at that, not only is the wheel come off, the entire chassis has been ripped out of place there. Mecha Bowser now slowly but surely going for the pit release button. Very slowly, finally pressing it. Took a couple of attempts, but they finally got there. And slowly backing up here. What has happened to Mecha Bowser? Mecha Bowser was doing all the work early on, and now it's barely mobile. Meanwhile, King Bee Cubed is going backwards and forwards, but you need to move left and right sometimes too, guys. And now you're right on the verge of the pit, and I don't think they can get away from there. And I think it's only a matter of time until Mecha Bowser sends King Bee Cubed down the pit. Any minute now, guys. Come on. We're on the clock here. We can only rent out the arena for a certain amount of time of the day. Any moment. Let's go. Come on. It's dinner time. Any second now. Finally! King Bee Cube sent down to the pit. That's a surprise. And Mecha Bowser go through to the next round. It's a shame that the two seasoned veterans of the meet are so early on, but that's the way it is sometimes. Mecha Bowser did take some damage, and a bit of its spinner got caught in the wheel there of King Bee Cubed, and then they did serious damage there to the wheel as well. But then something went wrong with Mecha Bowser's drive, I think. For some reason, they just slowed down to a crawl, and they were very lucky to get King Bee Cubed over the pit there, and eventually, and I do mean eventually, send them down.
Well, that was a fight, I think. Mecha Bowser will definitely need some fresh batteries, but nevertheless they're through to the next round, and that'll complete the round of 32. It's been another great night of action in the arena, with Pegasus' flipping beat down and Omega Nace's comeback being the highlights as we move on to next week's finals. In the meantime, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bit of a shame these two seasoned veterans had to meet so early, but that's the way it goes, I'm afraid to say. MECHA did take some damage, and look there, bit of the shell got caught in the wheel. I wonder if that was a problem as well. That certainly was, having their wheel removed. This is... For fuck's sake, David!